G'day everybody, how are we all? I'm really good. I'm actually, really good. Starting today's video yesterday, alright, so I've done a fair bit. I was not going to do anything today. I was going to sit on the couch, I was going to watch some footy and listen to some music, maybe play a computer game, which I haven't done for a very long time. And then Bessie rang me at about, I don't know, about 9 o'clock. I was sitting around doing the bugger all. And he's like, you should get a pressure cleaner and sluice all that rock down. And then you can use it for rock in the middle of your garden. And I was like, yeah, thanks man, that's a pretty good idea. Damn. Alright, but then I started thinking and I was like, well, before I do that, maybe I should tackle what's actually there. And I think what's happened, the previous owners, they filled those garden beds up where my veggie gardens are. And they've had too much soil, and so they've piled it up here. Have a look. So there was a lot more there. That was sort of banked down. I don't know if you can see it. Try and get a better view. So that was sort of banked down, where you can see on the angle that you can see. This is actually a little walking track. You can walk up there if you want. But I never use it. So this was all filled in garden soil. It's pretty sandy now. As most of you guys will know, sandy soil eats organic matter, just eats it. Doesn't matter if there's any biology in there or anything. If it's dry, it will just eat it or it'll just blow away. So that's what's happened here, but it's still pretty good soil. You can see there's organic matter in there. That's that dark brown stuff that's running through it. So this would have come from the municipal or the council tip, I would imagine, and they would have got a few tons of it in. They had too much and it ended up here. So it's backed onto this wall with all the rocks, and that's been tricky getting it out of here. Look at that hole. Like, that hole was a whole wheelbarrow full of soil, so I had to get into there. But you know, I was talking to Meekon earlier and I said this sort of stuff isn't really work for me. Like, I don't know if you guys are like that, but if it's fun and you go at your own pace and you listen to whatever you want to listen to on the radio or YouTube or anything like that, you just go at your own pace. And then what happens to me, I don't know about everybody else, is I'll do 3 barrows and then I'll be like, well, I've done 3, I might as well do 4, and then 4 turns into 12 and 12 turns into 20. And that's what happened today. Chickens love it. Chickens are in there and I don't mind. Get in there, girls, go hard. I've been watering it, but I've been watering it for about 2 minutes and turning it off and come back every 15 minutes or so and watering it for 2 minutes. Let's see how that, I actually haven't seen how that's gone. Let's find a place that's not in the middle. Let's go somewhere around here. It looks wet. Let's see. So yeah, it gets dry there at the ground level, but that's been really successful. So I'll let that sit overnight and let it wick, and it should be all pretty moist. I think there's about 1.5 tons there today, so thanks Besh. It's one of those thank yous where it's like, thanks mate, that's a good idea, and the other bits like, I could have been watching footy, but I'll tell you what, I feel pretty good now. So there's nice feelings in progress and achieving things, and I think we've done all right. I'll just quickly show you this. This was just sitting in this pot, and I'm like, you know what, in tribute to a Tulsi basil, because this will be the mother plant, hopefully, for many, many more, I'm going to put it in an Oya. I think that's an Oya. Is that an Oya? It's kind of an Oya. So I'm just going to bury it. I actually don't really like clay pots. They dry the soil out, they get hot, and yeah, they're not as good. It's like, even comparing them to, you see I've got white buckets everywhere. Those white buckets outperform clay pots probably 3 times. So, and you've got to water these all the time, and I don't like that. So there's Tulsi basil. I think it deserves a spot in here. Oh, one other thing, I don't really like straight lines, as in, I'm an old chef, and a lot of you guys that have cooked or worked in kitchens will know that straight lines generally are a bit of a no-no in cooking. And I guess this garden's going to be designed in the same vein as I cook, which is fairly eclectic. It's fairly rustic and a bit out there. So I know I've got a straight line here, so I've got 3 plants. But again, back to the chefs or the people that have worked in kitchens and that, you'll know that odd numbers look better than even numbers. So if you're ever going to plate anything and it's in a straight line, which we still do, like, and there's still ways to make that look really good, but generally you'll put 3 or 5 things on a plate rather than 4. I don't know why it is. It just looks better. Odd numbers look better. So when we're using even numbers, well, this is just me. When I was using even numbers, I would tend to make my stuff not in straight lines. I would say plate it around the side of the plate. So this whole garden is not going to be straight lines. You can see I've got the guava there, which is just planted where it's planted. But these 3 here are in a straight line, and that's kind of on purpose. So what we're going to do is we're going to design the whole thing around this straight line of plants. Eventually that won't be a Tulsi basil. We'll put a tree in there. And then yeah, everything else will get designed around that. You can see we've already got lots of round stuff, lots of funny shaped stuff, and I want to keep that going. So what you won't see here is square garden beds. You will see lots of water running through, and that's something we've got to figure out. But yeah, it's a planning process. I don't even know what it's going to look like yet, and that's sort of how I work a bit. I'm going to find out what works, and we're just going to design it along those lines. So cool. I'll see you tomorrow, guys, or in a minute. Cheers. You know how I love nurseries. Leah also loves nurseries, but I think it's more the buying stuff she loves rather than the plants. I've just met somebody, he's up there, I won't embarrass him, but he's a YouTube creator from Adelaide called Michael, and I'm subscribed to his channel. So I saw him, I'm like, I know this guy. And yeah, turns out it's Michael. Can't remember his channel name now, but I'll have a look in a bit and tell you. But yeah, it's dangerous coming to these places. I'll show you what we got when we get home. You know we're not coming home empty-handed. You know that's impossible. Back at home. We've had a pretty cool couple of days. We've done a fair bit. Definitely progress here. So you see all the shovel that I pulled out yesterday. And we went to the nursery. I was sitting around. I wasn't going to do any gardening work today. I had other stuff to do. But Leah was like, I want to buy a cherry, because what happened is she saw this dirt and she was like, I can buy a cherry now. So we went to the nursery, which is awesome. You've seen the footage. And the channel of the fellow that I met there is called Growing with Michael. He's from Adelaide. Jump on. I'm assuming he's a horticulturalist because he works there, or he knows a lot more about gardening than me. One of the two. So this is what we got. We got a Rainer cherry, and then he was like, you know, you need 2 cherries for them to pollinate. And I'm like, I did not know that. So then we got this, which is a Stella cherry. So yeah, we've done well, I think. We got some daisies down there because the bees have been desperately looking for flowers, and I'm pretty desperate to give them some flowers. So we got this. Now, Claire, you and I are thinking along the same lines. So Jane, I know we were talking about a fence and how it's hard to keep chickens in and that sort of stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to build a big trellis, and we're going to make use of this to grow jasmine, simply because I really like jasmine. It's a beautiful flower, brings bees in, and to me it smells amazing. So just be nice to have that smell around all the time. And this shed here is moving, and it's going to be a Japanese garden, so it'll be a nice backing for that Japanese garden. We'll get into that later. That is by far the most expensive part of this garden. So that's going to happen. So there we go. Look at me dodgy old stake there. You know, I believe this may have been the first tree Leah ever planted. So I've got her, folks. I've got her. She's in the permaculture trap now. She's been out here taking photos and she's very, very excited. And I'll show you what she bought. So she's doing her thing. This one I've just tied to a brick because we don't have enough soil to get stake in. And that's doing really well. Bent over. So we don't get frosts, I don't think, here because we're halfway up a hill. But we do get the cold hours. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Everything else is going really well. Update on Grace. She's sort of stalled a bit, but she's getting better. She won't touch those chickens. She loves them. It's a completely different animal when she's with those 4 chickens than to with anything else. She's like she is with the cat with those 4 chickens. So, So Leah bought these. There's 6 of these, and they won't charge today because we haven't had enough sun. We've only just put them in. But yeah, it's going to look like a little starlight garden, I think. They're scattered around the place. So that will look really, really cool. All this now has got water through it. It's good to go, I think. But obviously I need to put more dirt in here and slope it gradually and do all the nice stuff and do all that. But this is a great start, an absolute great start. Tell you what, I've knocked about 1,700 leaves off that poor thing, but it's fine. And a couple of people said, I'm not too sure about cutting the roots off the mulberry. You guys need to trust me. These things are tough as guts, right? So I think in the 2 days it's been in, I just stepped in a puddle and it was very cold and I've got my thongs on. Ah, you bastard. That's cold. So yeah, it's looking really good. It's looking really good. If you want to watch something funny on YouTube, I've seen it like 5 times today. Watch chickens jumping for mulberries. It is hilarious. You'll laugh at that stuff all day long. So everything's really, really good. It's looking really good. Check it out. I'll get out of the sun. I'll try and get the right angle for the sun, but I'll take you on another angle tomorrow morning because from down there it looks really, really good. But oh mate, I'm stoked. Absolutely stoked. We're coming along. Progress, progress. Yeah. All right, guys. Have a good day. Have a leg a week. I'll speak to you soon. Bye now.